Hello one and all, and welcome to a very special midweek edition. This is episode 12 of the Contest Round podcast. Obviously, we're getting right into it, and you know where to find us. We've got a YouTube playlist, we've got Spotify, we've got SoundCloud and iTunes, and yes, this is episode 12. It's Danger Danger, High Voltage edition, because it's full of juicy information. We're going to be talking about Storm Pyramid X, obviously, hence the high voltage, Hulkbuster beta thoughts, the Black Widow event, which is now looks like it's on for next month. And yes, it's a very special midweek edition, as obviously myself and Dan wanted to kind of focus on family things, as you do around these bank holiday weekends. So I hope you all had a lovely Easter and bank holiday weekend. And now I'm going to introduce, as I'm doing a speedy kind of introduction, my glamorous, handsome, and always out there kind of working hard co-host, Frontline MCOC Dan, who you can find links in the description. Hello, Dan.
Hey, Rich. How are we doing today?
I think we're good. I think it's quite sunny where I am. I don't know, it's early in the morning for you. Have you got your coffee? Is it nice outside?
Oh, yeah. It's starting to warm up. We're starting to get a little sun. We've had a lot of rain. I think we've had all the English weather actually over in my neck of the woods the last few weeks.
Yeah, so. I think we've been trading.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, right. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about a champion. I think this will probably be released by the time the podcast is out today. By the way, I did make a big mistake. I don't know if you noticed. I actually posted my video yesterday, and I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, naughty Rich.
I know. I only realised it because somebody said in my stream, and I just went, oh bother, because I misread on the Discord. It's got Monday the 14th of April. So I think I just went, oh right, so it's Monday then. I'll just put it out on Monday. But then there's a follow-up thing. I forgot to read. I forgot to read it, and it said, okay, we got to post it on the 14th. But it didn't say Tuesday the 14th. So I was like going, oh mate, I don't really know. And I showed Em, and she went, oh, there's too many dates there. And I was like, there's too many dates there. In any case,
yeah, no, it's the 14th. So just before we get into it. Yeah, so we got to review Storm Pyramid X for the content creator program, and we don't get to keep the champ by the time she's already gone from our account. So by the time you're hearing this, she is gone bye-bye.
And with this champion, it's I wouldn't say it's a weird one. There's a lot seems to be replication of same with Sorcerer Supreme, not older champions, but like a Havoc. She's kind of like a Havoc in some ways, but
she's got a little bit of Havoc, a little bit of Emma Frost, and a little bit of Iceman, all blended up into something slightly new.
Very weird there was something that I found kind of odd, and that was with the way that she's persistent. And did you kind of like get what that was all about?
You mean whether she's in the different Tempests? Are you talking about that?
Well, it's fight to fight, because she's got persistent charges of numbers. I never really kind of twigged as to what that was all about.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, she's got that pre-fight, so you can decide whether you're starting in the Ice Tempest, which is more of the defensive, cold snap immunity Tempest, or you're starting in the Lightning Tempest, which is really where her damage is. So, yeah, I mean, I played around with that a little bit, but she's a complex champion. There's a lot I liked about her, but at the end of the day, there's also, I think she has some drawbacks too. She's probably actually pretty balanced when it comes down to it, but we love those OP champs, don't we, Rich?
Oh, yeah. I think the thing for me I found very weird, I think it was Cam that picked up on it, was just like, this champion does big yellow numbers. You're going to get that. But for sure. But for the consistency of it, and Cam was saying that, the critical rating was low. So I was like, I must check this, see how low it is. And it was like 16% critical rating. And I was like, oh wow, that's a bit low. I think in my video, which some people may have seen, but obviously they'll see it once I've publiced it because it's privated at the moment. It's like comparing it with other ones, and I think it was like 24 is what you get from Namor. Even like there's so many champions to compare. I think it was again like 24 for don't quote me on that. 20. I think it's 24 for Nightcrawler as well as a rank 3 comparison, and I was like, man, 16%. But it's that critical damage and just the prowess build that still is going to make you see some big numbers, even if it's not just one big yellow number. It's going to be consecutive numbers. I think in some of the footage that goes out with the video, there was a 42k big yellow number with an SP2, followed up with 2 subsequent white numbers of 12k, and then another kind of yellow number of just over like 13k, and it added up to an 80k SP2. So you're still getting it. You're still getting the good numbers.
And that's a rank 3 5-star.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's definitely some damage there. I think she's another one of those like Sorcerer Supreme is, where there's definitely some quality to her kit. It just depends, like, do you like the ramp up?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of prowess building champs to begin with. I don't like doing all that work and spending it on one special attack, especially if it's not going to end the fight.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some damage there. I feel like she's more of a utility play, and I think she's going to have a lot of value for progressing players. I think much like Sorcerer Supreme suffers from the fact that a lot of us already have her base covered.
Yeah.
If we already have a Havoc or an Emma Frost or an Iceman ranked up, we may feel like we have the Storm Pyramid X base covered. But if you get her as an initial 5-star, she's gonna cover a lot of ground for you. And I think one of the coolest things about her is that her immunities are a different combination than we've seen before, because we haven't seen a champ that can stop Cold Snap and Shock before.
Yeah.
So that's going to solve some problems right there, because normally it's, all right, well, I got to bring my Shock immune champ, and then I got to bring my Cold Snap immune champ, but she's going to be able to do both. So that's pretty cool. And so I don't know, did you play around at all with that, or what do you think? She's more damage or utility? What do you think?
A little bit of both. Yeah, I think you've nailed it on the head there.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, I thought that she could have so many applications, different content. Like you said, if you're looking for an option to kind of clear X, Y, and Z, if you're looking for another option to kind of take you through a very annoying 6.2 rarity gates things, then yes, could be a cool option. By the way, how goes it with your 6.2? I saw you just 100% 6.2.1.
100% at 6.2.1. I had I know people don't like that chapter because it's life cycle. I actually had a great time in that chapter with my life cycle counters, and other than the aspect of Warpath, which was terrible because it was life cycle plus aspect of war plus a masochism carnage and a buffet venom pool, which was pretty terrible. Other than that, minimal resources and revives spent. I felt good about the chapter, and I've got a big guide with some videos coming out and a whole write-up on every path. So I actually really enjoyed it, and now it's going to be on to Mr. Sinister soon.
Oh yeah, that one.
After Alliance War, frees up my champs day, because unlike some people, I'm still contributing to the community at large through my alliance. Rich,
I love waking up in the morning and going, I can do whatever I want. And I think it's one of these things where we're not this wasn't like an advertised topic, but I think it's something to talk about, the idea of being alliance free. I've had so many people come up to me and say, not obviously physically come up, but say to me, "Oh, you should just do your own alliance and just do this, and this." And the point of me being completely alliance free is to spend 1 month off that I haven't taken in 4 years, just to go. I just have that kind of thing. It's just away from my mind's gaze, and it's just the constant pings in line and stuff like that. It's just getting myself away from it, just to kind of like focus a bit more on enjoying the game. And it's come to a point where I'm happy to play the game from a YouTube perspective and other stuff. And obviously I will go back to Alliance for season 18, 17 or 18. It's 18, I think it is.
We're in 17 now. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. So I'll be back for season 18. But it's just spending that month off is just. So
you must feel like a new person.
I do. I really do. Just the pressures are kind of gone for 1 month, but I need to still remain competitive with it. But in that point, I've got to do things that I set out to do, which was I did a little bit more variant 1 than I've done before, and I've done a lot more of Act 6.3, which I'm going to start like streaming soon, and then go for doing a lot more of Act 6. and I would recommend it once in your MCC career to anybody, not just Dan, but taking a month off can be quite a refreshing thing. It allows you to take the drudgery of going straight into AQ and AW all the time. Not to say it's a bad thing, but for some people it can be. But yeah.
Well, sometimes you just need a break from turning on your phone first thing in the morning and looking at Line or Discord and say, all right, how many pings do I have? Did they get through the second mini boss, or do I need to clear that right away? Because there was not as much anymore, because my alliance is in my battle group is a well-oiled machine at this point. But I think I've said this before. I play in a battle group with 3 Australian players, so 6, 7 a.m. my time is getting to be 10, 11 p.m. their time.
God.
So if that mini boss isn't down when I'm waking up, like, it has to come down immediately, because they're going to go to bed and we're not going to 100%. So that's not a problem anymore, but it used to be a thing where it would be literally the first thing I would do would be like, all right, let's make sure, Dormammu number 2 is down, or you're fighting that sucker without your coffee.
Yeah.
Not a good time. And that can wear on you, but you're doing something very brave now, Rich.
I feel brave.
What's that meme? It's like, why would you do something so controversial yet so brave?
I know.
Just leave your alliance.
I know. I've become like I don't know. I think, what was it? Kabam Thal said I would be more of a trailblazer if I went over and did a stint with Twitch live streaming MCOC. The Twitch community for MCC is growing, but I didn't feel like I was too much of a trailblazer. But that's another story for another day, because I want to move on the subject to talk about game stability. Now, it seems to be okay as of today, and was yesterday, but we have had a good instance of 7+ days where we've had a lot of time the game's been going down. Largely comes. Have you felt yourself affected by any of it for Alliance Quest and Alliance Wars point of views? Obviously, because I don't know. I don't have an experience at the moment.
Yeah. Thankfully, we finished everything, but as you pointed out, those outages were in the last couple hours of AQ a few times, and that's just a scary time. If you miss for the game to go down, if you miss somebody's availability window, you might not finish.
No.
So we didn't get caught by it, but I'm sure others did, and it's not fun when you do. And then there's always the person that has those 3-minute war boosts on or something like that loses them, and there's never a good time for the game to go down. There's no sugarcoating it.
That's true. Obviously, we don't know anything more than anybody else does about what's going on. Kabam don't say, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. We do get kept in the dark. It's a case of all we would get is the game's down, the game's back up again. Just that's it. So we are just doing guesswork as to what that is.
Yes.
I think as well it is one of these things. It's difficult because I want to kind of go, oh well, these things happen, and Kabam in the past have gone, okay, this is because of our provider, which has been fine, because look, if my provider goes down now, then it stops the podcast and I wouldn't be able to continue on with Dan. Same thing if anything happened to Dan. So it's one of these odd ones because it doesn't feel there's been huge transparency. It's a difficult one. Do you think businesses should, or companies like Kabam should, give a bit more detail as to like why the game has gone down or why some service isn't working?
I'm always in favor of more transparency. We don't know, based on what the issue is, whether they can say anything in the first place, and they could never answer that question to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you guys say anything about it? They can't say, no, we're not allowed to say anything about it. It's like, well, then, all right, well, then we know a lot just from that answer. But let's just look at the calendar, right? Let's do a little rampant speculation as to what's going on. So we know we had some game instability last week. Well, what happened last week? We got a new game update. We had a beta go live.
Yeah. And
we had Incursions go live 2 weeks earlier than intended. Yeah. That's a lot of moving pieces.
Yes.
And on top of that, global pandemic people working from home.
Yeah.
I feel like more people are playing the game than ever. Like, didn't the game go down right after the beta went live? Like,
Yeah.
I think we know what happened, right? Like, come on. Like, everyone tried to rank up their Hulkbuster at once, and no one was able to do it.
Which is a problem.
There was a demand for the game.
Yeah, which is even a problem. Like now, if you go to rank up a champion, I don't. It was a hell of a lot worse last year. But when you went to rank up and level up a champion, it just, you get the connection warning sign, and obviously there needs to be communication to say that, say to Kabam. So they've got like this. Obviously, they keep stats and logs on you as an individual from like you've ranked up to say, okay, well I've ranked up Hulkbuster, and then the game's crashed, and then it's like, then you kind of go, well, I had all these resources that were used on this champion, and now they're missing for some reason. Oh, let's just check back through the records. Oh, it does appear that you've ranked up a champion. So I guess that's what it's trying to do, is communicate and tell them that. But it's just, the element of communication with it to start player. I would hope that in the future it's something that Kabam could look into. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because this game has been 5 years on, and again, I'm assuming what's going on, because maybe it's something to ask Kabam. I assume it's on the same type of engine. So if
it was originally built on in like 2013.
So
that's a long time ago in mobile game years.
Yeah. This is what would be interesting with what they're doing with Marvel Realm of Champions, whether or not that's built on a similar or something completely new. I obviously hope it's something. I'd hope completely new than old, but obviously people may, Kabam may go, well, it's easier for us to know how to use this one, but I hope it's something completely new and just, that they can build it. It has a lot more functionality to it. So I guess it's that will terminate. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Or Joe fix it even.
Yeah, Joe fix it. My boy, Joe fix it. But let's, the game has also been more stable in the last few days. And what happened in the last couple days?
Beta's gone.
Sorry, what was that?
I said the beta's gone. Beta's gone.
The beta's gone, and we had a patch update.
We did, yeah.
And tonight we have maintenance, which they don't do as often as they used to do. So, I mean, there's a pretty... I feel like the roadmap for what happened and how they're fixing it has all been laid out. So hopefully after maintenance tonight, things are a lot better. And we've seen this before, right? The game was pretty iffy when Dungeons first started too, right?
Oh, God, yeah, Infinity Dungeons. That was a hell of a horrible time. Every time the Dungeons would go live, the game went down. God, yeah, those days. Mm-hmm. God damn.
I mean, I feel like we don't know, but we can see a lot of signs on the side of the road leading us to an answer with this one. But I hope that they've identified it. It feels like they're on the right track the last couple days, and things have been better since the patch. And I don't know. I know people get frustrated by the game outages. I do too. I tend to be more sympathetic, especially during these times, and understanding people are working from home, things happen, and the big one for me is they never intended for the beta and for Incursions to be live at the same time.
No, that seemed to be a very difficult.
I just think that was asking too much.
Yeah,
from the game stability point of view. That is a big amount of server load and moving pieces, and because there was such hype and high interest for both of those things. Like, people wanted to rank up and test Hulkbuster immediately. People wanted to play Incursions immediately. So they just slammed the servers. It's not rocket science, right?
Yeah.
You can only so many people can fit through the door at one time.
Speaking of that, of loads of people at one time, I'm going to divert us a little bit onto arena scores. They seem to have bumped up.
Arena is back.
Yeah. Whether or not, and I don't think we're at the point to speculate, is this going to be bots or not? Doubtful, especially considering that everybody's home at the moment and everybody's grinding champions. 4 stars instead of going for about around 10 mil are now bumped up to about 11.5. The cutoffs have been for the round one. The round one for Sorcerer Supreme was looking at about 61.5 mil. That's
pretty high these days.
Yeah, that is. And, Sorcerer Supreme, I mean, for me, I think it's because I had the wrong masteries and I wasn't willing to switch out and spend units to kind of do that.
Yeah.
I maybe didn't do quite as good a justice with reviewing that champion. But it's not my style of champion, similar to kind of like just switching between different things and understanding that I like being more brawler, more aggressive. And that's why similar champions that do not similar, but champions that do nullification just see me sticking towards my Doctor Dooms, my Black Widow Clairvoyance. But that's my thoughts. So people do other people at the end of the day. What do you think of this situation, Dan, and Sorcerer Supreme going high?
Yeah, I was a little bit confused by that myself, because I don't think she's an OP champion. I know she received a lot of hype in other people's videos. I tend to be more on the Brian Grant side of things with my review on her. He had this great line. He said, she's a balanced champ in a sea of OP. And I pretty much agree with that. She's a cool champ if you like her ramp up. I think she's better in longer fights. For me, the big issue with a nullification champion is I want that instant nullification at the top of a fight in case I'm facing something that's an immediate problem, either an Annihilus or just a node that we're on that I need gone immediately.
Yeah.
That I don't have time to ramp up to. That's why I like Symbiote Supreme so much, right? Because I know top of the fight he's going to clear the BS.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of cases where I would want to play Sorcerer Supreme over Symbiote Supreme personally. But she's a cool champ, looks awesome. I think I said in my review, like the spell book shouldn't work as a weapon, right? Like it sounds like it shouldn't work, but it does. They executed it so well. It's super cool. And she just easy to intercept with, so smooth. The graphics and design people, once again, just crushing it. Both champs. Just crushing it. Just love the looks. I just don't think she's a 62 million point champ. She's not the best prestige. She's not a good defender at all. So yeah, I don't think she warrants that kind of score.
No. Just before we get into the next story, something to mention. I think we both kind of agreed in sending our heartfelt kind of feelings towards very sadly that Lola Grant, obviously Neil Doggy of Brian and Laura, sadly passed away. And if you're not familiar, obviously Lola featured in a lot of content that Brian and Laura as well put out. So it's really sad to hear about that. I know people like talk about pets and stuff, but pets become your little child.
Oh yeah.
So
no, it's tough, and they become a huge part of your world, and it's a tough time for everyone in the world right now. And I think we all lean on family and friends and pets right now to kind of bring us some emotional comfort. So it's really tough when you lose that.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to continue. We're not going to make this like a down podcast, because it wouldn't be the case. But I was just going to mention that and I've got here a tortoise that's humping its ramp, its wooden ramp. So. Which is just, and it's funny enough, it's his birthday today. So he's 10 years old. This is Hatch Day is 10 years old. His time with us is 3 years. So let's get back on track. And we're not going to talk about
that is a segue, Rich.
Yeah, it's a segue. But we got to keep.
And you did such a good job avoiding getting us demonetized with your mastery setup, to then talk about tortoise humping.
I know. It's his birthday. I guess you can do it. Yeah.
It is his birthday. let the dude celebrate how he wishes.
Yeah, and I think I don't really care about YouTube anymore to a point I go like, right, I'm gonna say Suicide Masteries now. I'm going back to saying it. People have kind of rinsed me in comments.
Now he's done it, folks.
Yeah,
he's done it.
I
timestamp it.
Yeah, even like M's been reading my comments as well and just going like, funnily enough, there's some people that still come to my videos and say time codes would be appreciated, and there's freaking time codes in the video. Come on,
no one
people.
does more time codes. You should change your name to Rich the Man of Time Codes.
Yes, exactly, or timestamps apparently.
Timestamps.
In any case, let's move the topic up back onto serious stuff and double crossing. Is it worth doing? Is it very personal? Will you be doing it, Dan? I'm not.
I am staying loyal to Apocalypse. I would not want to feel his wrath after double crossing him.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm liking the shards. I'm feeling good. I had a good opening yesterday. Not sure if you saw it.
No, but you should see it. We'll put it in some descriptions and stuff.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but it was one of those where I had a good day yesterday. So I'm feeling good about that, and I'm just liking doing the openings right now. So I'm gonna stick with the shards.
Nice. I'm doing the same. I'm gonna try and I need to make a decision of what I'm doing. So I've got a Raid Shadow Legends deal to do, and I don't know whether or not to do that with a crystal opening or a early access bundle thing. I kind of want to reduce down spending as I want to get more units to then do some more Act 6 or Variant 1. I haven't decided. So I need to make a decision whether or not I do it with crystal openings, because people are, again, I do listen to the comments. I do read the comments when people say, don't put Raid Shadow Legends deals in Marvel Contest of Champions news. And I haven't till that point. But I need to decide whether or not I'm going to run it on crystal openings, which, 5 stars and stuff. But the plan is, and I will get to the point because I'm rabbling on, I need to I need to try and have lots of attempts to try and get Aegon, and as well I've got a 6-star opening as well at the end of the month. So, fingers crossed for me on that one, but we'll see what happens. But I want more opportunities to get this Awakened Aegon, whether it comes in the shape and form of a one-shot 6-star or multiple shots at a 5-star. And then after that, I'm just all on rank up materials for the rest of my MCC career, it seems. But obviously, put in the comments section of the YouTube, and obviously let us know what you're going to be doing. Are you going to be sticking or twisting, really, with it? And what's your reasons for doing so? Moving us now again on to, because we like this, quickly on to the next topic. Lost Mercs for Gold. I think I've written that down wrong. I think it's something else than that. But another opportunity to get gold, Dan. That's not incursions.
I like gold.
Yes.
That's my take on this.
Have you seen?
I don't know what it is.
Have you seen?
I'm very confused about this.
Have you seen?
I know Deadpool's teasing us. I know gold is a word that I like, that I need more of. And I'm still confused about the sticky key. Is this part of why is the key sticky? How do we use the key?
Yeah.
It's a lot to deal with.
It is. All
will be revealed.
Yes, I thought at the start you were going to go like when you said I love gold. Have you seen Goldmember before? Austin Powers movie.
Oh yes, I have. I have seen the Austin Powers Goldmember.
I thought you were going to say something like, I love gold so much I lost my genitalia in an unfortunate smelting accident.
I leave the accents in your capable hands.
Yeah. As Kabam Frenchie says that my French accent sounds like a difference between French and Russian. I must admit, I must stop doing the Dutch. So someone said you can't do a Dutch accent, so I then said, "Well, give me some clogs and give me some edam, some gouda." It's like that's not what we sound like. Yes, it is. In any case, yeah. So we're excited about this gold event. Lots of mystery still. What is the sticky key still kind of? I think Kabam it's cool because they've been stringing this out. Like, what's this gold? Yeah. This sticky key here for? This event that's coming towards the end of the month. Is that a case you've got to use the key similar to how you would have a Labyrinth for Legends key, which is in everybody's. Most people's inventory, which has and serves no purpose whatsoever. It's still nice to have these kind of weird keys. It just reminds me of the days of Act 5.3, which were Strange
Keys.
times, yeah, all that time
Oh,
ago.
I had blocked those stupid keys out of my memory.
Oh god, yeah.
Remember, you just had to like skip all around trying to find those things.
Ugh, bloody hated that. Okay, talking of new things that have been added in, and as we talked about incursions briefly, I don't know really what to make of, like, it's been nearly a week since they've been introduced. We've had obviously CCP review, we've had it a little while longer. What's the kind of feeling with hype now? I feel that this is in some ways I see incursions like a firework. It's kind of like it's gone up into the sky, it's exploded with all this colour and magnitude and loveliness, and then it's just fizzled out.
Right.
How have you had feedback-wise from this? Have people still been kind of like hyped about this, or kind of they're still going like, I'm enjoying it a week later? A lot of the times I see more people asking questions about, say, their roster doesn't... They've got to a certain point where they've got X amount of champions of X amount rarity, and they're feeling like this content maybe is too much for them, and they're not able to scale down, and I don't know. I'm seeing some negative vibes towards it in some cases. What have you experienced so far?
Yeah. So I agree with you that certainly there's been some negativity, and some of that is warranted. Now, when you talk about the hype, of course, pretty much the CCP universally loved it, and it's a little bit different, right? If you've got if you're world premiering something with Brian Grant and Legacy, well, they're probably going to get through a bunch of rooms with minimal trouble, right? Like those guys are awesome players who did dungeons together a bunch and have great rosters and know how to work together. And then when you have the rest of the CCP playing, those are generally end game players, or at least close to it. They have good relationships with each other and teamwork and all those things. So you're going to have a good experience, right? And that's going to impact your review. It's not like any of us played with a random and then released an incursions review.
Yeah.
That would color the experience, right? So I think at least for people like in my general alliance sphere, I think they're liking it. I think they like the rewards and they're having fun with the hacks. I do tend to kind of stalk some of the MCOC Facebook community posts, and just to get a sense of the wider community. And like you said, a lot of questions, a lot of people frustrated with randoms. I do think incursions are even less forgiving for random matchmaking than dungeons were. So that contributes to it, right? If you're playing with someone that you know and you're on voice chat and you're running through the rooms and getting all the hacks you want and taking down these monster opponents, you're going to have a good time and feel good about it. If you saw these videos and then you try to do the same thing with a random, you're probably not feeling that good about it. And there's just other people that I think want incursions to be something than what it is. And they say, oh, well, I'd love it if it was a solo game mode. Well, it's not meant to be a solo game mode. That's just not what it is. So you're asking it to be something it's not. So it's just not for you then. And that's fine.
Yeah, from what I've played with, because I did some participation with some subscribers the day of release, and yeah, it's pretty enjoyable doing that. But I think I go into a different way. Like I'm not too caught up if it feel frustrated or angry if someone's not able to get through it. They have a stopping point. If someone has a stopping point, that's absolutely fine. But that's the problem with doing randoms. It's like I'm happy to help out my subscribers as much as possible if they're able to get into the same kind of sectors as is possible, and whether or not they feel that their roster has the ability to go through.
Right.
But apart from that, when it comes to the more kind of extreme side of things, it's like, is there like the top people? Not to say they are or not, but you're going to see like Legacy, Brian Grant, Yi, and so many other people that have been able to do so many rooms. Go right. Well, I'm going to help out this person that's just got like a few 5 stars. It's not going to be the case. So there's going to be restrictions to people playing with CCP members, just based on a lot of factors, especially time, because that's another thing.
Right.
If you wanted to help out as many people as possible, you'd have to earmark an entire day, and you'd be re-repeating stuff time and time again. Because that was one of the complaints that came up is time. But yeah, I'm still, for me, I will only play Incursions about once a week. I may actually miss out in playing this week just based on like time restrictions and stuff like right. And we'll probably say, you're at home a lot more. I'm always at home a lot more. You're at home a lot more. You can do stuff. Oh, can't we do this, and this? I'm still working. We can eat if I don't work. Because somebody's being paid and can stay at home. I'm working from home. Are you? Are you really? Anyway, not that anyone's prying into my life.
Yeah, that's all hypothetical, right, Rich?
Though speaking of getting back on topic as well, Em has said to me, "Can we do incursions?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think we can. Not sure. So that may be a thing." I'm thinking about saying, "Could we do a live stream?" But Em would be pretty. I don't think she'd feel a lot of pressure from it. We'll have to see, though. We'll have to see.
Yeah. I still like them. I'm excited to do them. One of my favorite game modes, and I am going to rank 2 a champion later today, specifically for incursions.
Oh wow! Okay, pray tell.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
My Morningstar to rank 2 for incursions.
Oh
because
yeah.
Because she is the goddess of incursions. I had so much fun playing her in incursions. I think she's definitely a top 2 or 3 champ. She's built for incursions. It's just phenomenal. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to doing more live streams with incursions, and I just think they're fun. They're a fun way to test yourself. I feel like I don't feel as much pressure. I know we say like, oh, we got to get to these rooms. Like, yeah. I don't know. There used to be that hard cutoff with dungeons. Like, you got to get to room 5 or you feel bad, right? Like it was dungeon 7, room 5, or you're a scrub at our level. I just don't feel that like with this now. It's kind of like, all right, let's just get in there and have some fun. You get all the milestones early in the rank rewards as far as the dark artifacts. Mm-hmm. And okay, maybe you don't make it to room 10 or whatever. Like, it's 30 days. You can try again. Like, it's fine. Yeah. I just look at it more like, it's like, all right, I'm going to get on call with one of my friends and talk and play the game a little bit and let it breathe a little bit more rather than just like, let's smash out 5 rooms of dungeons as quickly as humanly possible so we can get back to something else. Okay. I like that it's 5 days instead of 3. I think it gives it more time to breathe. Remember when it used to be every day at reset? That was the worst. There was such a big improvement when they went from 1 day to 3 days, and now 3 to 5 I think is even better. And with the 30-day reset on the top room rewards, it just gives you time to put it down for a while. So I think it's a big improvement.
Yeah, I think as well. Oh, by the way, shout out to the community for the support on the video that Dan helped help out and make with myself. We got up to 8,700 views on that one, and obviously appreciate everybody that's supported.
I was so excited to see that come out. It was a lot of fun to see my Venom and my Morningstar on your channel, Rich, and I was pretty excited about that, and I saw the footage like, ooh, I got a nice little intercept in there with the Venom to start the fight. I was all proud of myself. So it was cool to see the comparison, and to, as always, I enjoy the collaboration when it comes to content creation. That's why I love doing the podcast so much, and why I really, when I get into live streaming more, want to focus on incursions. I just like having someone to bounce ideas off of and talk to. It's the part of it that I find the most fun.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, we should do some more, just as long as you have to. You can put up with the kind of crap that happens when I stream, where I'm either asking too many questions, going like second guessing myself, interacting with chat, or having people put their the voice activated thing, and we get a super chat that scares the crap out of me because I have that dun dun dun, and I'm like, ah. So if you want,
it's all good, Rich. I'm up for it anytime, my friend.
Okay.
Anytime.
Right, we'll have to do it either this week or next week or something like that. We'll get it together.
Yeah.
We'll get it done.
We will.
Okay, next thing that's been announced, really weird actually. So I put out Marvel Contest Champions news in the morning, and say that, well, more than likely we're going to see a Black Widow event because Marvel Future Fight got out there first and put out something about Black Widow. And I thought, okay, so this means that if
very telling.
Yeah, if a developer that has been working, because that's the biggest thing, if developers have been working for many months on an event, which obviously, or characters, or an event or something like a movie and stuff, you can't just say to game developer, okay, could you put this on hold for about 5 or 6 months after this pandemic stuff is over? It's not really going to be the case that they can do that, especially because it mess up so many things from the roadmap and what Kabam have got planned and other developers have got planned.
Yeah.
So Marvel Future Fight released what they did, and then obviously I released the video going, we're more than likely to see this. Boom, later on in the day, we have then got the announcement. We're going to have a Black Widow event, which still is to promote the movie, but we're going to get it. And as well, it looks like whilst we're recording, it's been confirmed by Otrux, the sneak
on the Twitter,
the sneaky little data miner, that we're indeed going to be getting Red Guardian and a variant suit of Black Widow, which is not technically in bunny ears movie related, but is a type of variant from comic books. So 2010, I think it was when I last checked it. Anyway,
nice.
It's cool to see it. What are your thoughts about this, Dan?
Well, the teaser image is pretty gorgeous. So I'm excited about that. I definitely wanted to see a movie version of Black Widow. I love the new costume that's been in the trailers.
Yep.
So I was really hoping we were going to get that. The art looks gorgeous, just the textures and all that, and the weapons, and the hair, the whole thing is just. It looks awesome as usual. Our team just crushing it. So yeah, I'm super excited that's what we're getting. I can't wait to see what she actually looks like in game and what the power set is going to be. We have no idea about that, but I am pretty hyped for this.
Yeah, these two characters are going to be like, I think a lot of people have been calling out for a Black Widow that's more kind of in keeping with modern times and obviously modern meta and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Red Guardian's going to be a bit of a weird one. I've seen some comic book origins where they've said, he's super soldier serum of Russia, another one saying that he's more skill based. So I need to go back and do a comic book history video and kind of like see, well, what sources are saying he's got to be this and what sources are saying he's got to be that. So that's something that I do have to bear in mind as well.
Right. I can't imagine a comic book character having somewhat convoluted origins.
Yeah,
that seems rather unlikely, but if you say so.
Yeah, it's just really piecing it.
I know.
It's piecing it all together. Because
it is. It's like, which version of the character do you use? And we've got a multiverse-based game, but at the end of the day, it's great to give a sort of a relatively unknown character, I think, like Red Guardian. He's certainly not a top-tier character, getting him some exposure. At the same time, Black Widow is the only one of the OG MCU Avengers not to have a movie universe version in the game.
Oh God, I didn't think about that.
She certainly deserves it.
That's a good point. I was thinking, that's yes. That's not been really a thing. We've had Hulk Ragnarok, Iron Man Infinity War, Beardo, Ronan. Cat Marvel movie version. God, yeah, the list goes on with that. God. Speaking of things of like random revealness, which Kabam Frenchie, he did a good job when he came on the podcast and gave us a lot of info, stuff to come.
I had a great time talking to him.
Yeah, I didn't know obviously the extent of what we could talk to him about, and that's something that I think we need to kind of like find it with Kabam. What can we ask you? Because Kabam Frenchie then went obviously onto a fellow Frenchman, Jack's channel, and did a little kind of interview type thing, and basically revealed a whole load of stuff that even things that we were not too privy to. So I guess we know where their allegiances lie. We should have been more French, Dan. We should have been a lot more French.
Yeah, well, let's get right on that.
Yeah, there's a
I mean,
lot.
that's cool though that when you talk about the different languages, right? Like for them to have a dev come on and be able to speak in, to the French community in French, like that's awesome for them. Like with something as English speakers, we don't even think about, right? Like we just assume, like, of course the developers are going to communicate in English to us all the time. So it's great that they were able to have that back and forth. And like you said, they got into some cool stuff there as far as the roadmap goes. And I think probably the mastery stuff was one of the bigger takeaways for me, is we've always wanted that ability to switch between masteries. So hopefully they've found a good way to get that to load in the game quickly.
Yeah, I know that John's been. John works like on so many random bits of the game, and he's the one of many that kind of like goes, okay, well, we're going to try and do this and this and this without the game just breaking down. Because that's one thing, like they were saying in that podcast, and if you want the full transcript, myself and Dan won't be covering the full extent of it, but it will be in my Discord on. I think Unofficial Marvel Contest Champions podcast might cover it as well, but it's in my Discord. It's under video write-ups. If you want to give it a read, it's been very kindly translated by Jack. But yeah, there's so many things with having a mastery that if you switched it, then what will it do? Will it mess up things? Will it be something that, will you moan more with the game breaking down than having that switch between masteries? It's a difficult one. You've got to keep player base happy, and the same thing, the game needs to be stable.
It sounds like it's something that they want to do and that they've wanted to do for a while. I don't think it's one of those things where they aren't listening to the community. I think it's just they have to get it right. I mean, you can't launch something as core to the game as masteries with an improvement to it and have it work incorrectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because it affects everything.
Yeah. And there's a few other things as well, like the new event new event difficulty, potential arena changes,
Cavalier.
which sorry?
It's not Cavalier.
It's not Cavalier. We've been told not to say it's Cavalier, but yeah, maybe not. Yeah, some arena changes which the person behind Incursions may be doing. Improvements to quests and solo crystals. 2021 boost to Alliance Wars rewards and much more, and the return of Lil Steve, the summoned symbioid.
See the teaser for Lil Stevie?
No, I didn't. When was?
Because they did. They had some promotional art that came out last week featuring the symbiote.
Oh man, I must have missed that.
So it's not just Frenchie. They did tease it.
God.
And I think I don't know about you, Rich, but I thought that was one of the most creative and universally loved events that they've ever done. Like they got wacky. They gave you this character that you get to rank up with these unique resources, and he was super OP at the end. And then he went away, and he was like specifically designed for these quests. And there was this whole fandom around him. Like people got super into it. When you talk about sort of the storytelling in the game combined with like the actual quest execution, they married up so well for that event.
Yeah, they had a forum post that was following some kind of weird exploit where I think people would take the story and then he'd go on adventures, and there was something about him having on, I think it was like just relaxing with a drink. He was on a beach, and there's so many things. That story,
people had fun with it. It was great. It was an awesome event for the community. So would love to see a sequel.
Yeah. I think there was, in the interview, they said that it was like June and July events were being made at the moment, and they wouldn't factor in the summoned symbioid. So whether it's going to be later on than that, it's hard to tell. It's difficult because you don't know well, we kind of feel that we do know that New York Comic Con 2020 is going to be a no-go at this given rate.
That's what I'm. That as someone who does live events for a living, I'm starting to agree with you on that, and it worries me about the larger implications of what that means. It just you keep see everything getting pushed back as far as cruise lines and conventions and meetings, and here in the U.S. I'm really looking at the NFL because if you ask Americans to give up their football, and we do, then that is a sign that things are really serious.
Yeah, lots of I hear it's a case that all sports have just been ceased whatsoever.
Oh yeah, it's the same. It's the same here.
Yeah, and even now they're kind of like, we just all need this to be over. Really, I think we've got to focus on the end point. But of those things, apart from the Summon Symbioid, is there anything in particular you might be looking forward to? Like the new difficulty, arena changes, improvements, quests?
I'm very much looking forward to the new difficulty. I thought he said some interesting things about it. And you can see that they're still concepting this because they're not quite sure, according to Frenchie, where the difficulty is going to be, because they're talking about, well, who is this content for? Is it for the absolute end gamers who can rank 3 a 6-star? Is it down a tick from that? Because I think they look at it as like they need a game mode that keeps the end game entertained and that can be grown into maybe a little bit, because they don't want it to be super easy off the bat, because it's going to be the top game mode for monthly for probably a couple years, right?
Yeah.
So it needs to last. It can't be at its expiration date and when it premieres. So it sounds like it's going to have to be pretty tough.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would prefer it to be more like Sentinel 6.1.6 than 6.2.6 Champion. If I was to kind of say that's the ramp up that I would expect to see from an end boss perspective. Everything else, I'd say if it's Cavalier, it's got to really mask 6.1 in some regards, not completely. That's just my thoughts.
Well, it's good to see that we're just getting. Well, we don't have a set release date yet. We have a general time frame, and they're talking about it more. Like for about a year, it just seemed to be one of those things like, we want this, we want this, we want this. And the answer was, well, we're doing other stuff. We're doing variants. We're doing Act 6.3 and 6.4 and eventually the dungeon revamp. And now that all those big projects are done, now they're actually talking about it. So we know that it's coming, and that's helpful. Although I do hope that they're not giving up on variants, because as you and I have both talked about, variants are the best.
Yeah, Variant 5. I'm missing it this month, I must admit. Being Alliance free, this would have been a good opportunity for something like that to come in. But I've just got to get my ass in gear and do a lot more of Act 6 in general. But I'm enjoying this kind of this free and easy type kind of time that I'm in.
Rich the man of relaxation.
Exactly. Speaking of relaxation, but what people are up to, what are you up to this week, Dan?
I am working on my 6.2.1 guide. Nice. Already recorded a couple videos highlighting some great champions to counter life cycle, which I know is a tricky node, but I found it to be one of those nodes where once I got out of, I'm going to take my heavy hitters in and just bash my head against the wall with my quote best champs, and instead focused on the utility I needed to deal with the final phase of the shield, that being heal block and champs that had stun. I had a great time, and that's something that I wanted to highlight in both a write-up and a video, and that's one way that I wanted with my content really get people to focus on. It's not just about the tier list and the best champs. It's the best champs for the problem you are presented with. And if you think like that, then you're going to have a better time in the game.
Brilliant. I will, because I need to go back and do Life Cycle. I did a little bit of experimenting today, but I think I'll be looking forward to that guide and the write-up. So everyone should go and check that out. I'm just going to be doing, what am I doing today? I probably the podcast, and then tomorrow will be the Marvel Contest Champions news and a video guide about how to switch sides and whether you should. Thursday will be comic book history for Black Widow and Red Guardian. And then, just end the week with a couple of crystal openings and some weird videos over the weekend, as normal. So,
Sounds like a full week.
And then we might be doing a podcast on Sunday. We need to potentially talk about that.
Yeah, we will talk about that offline. Gonna line up some guests and go from there. But sounds like that is about it for this episode.
It is. Thank you, everybody, for coming on by and listening. If obviously you did enjoy, make sure to hit all those kind of things, the heart buttons on SoundCloud, the like button on YouTube, and appreciate you all for the lovely support for the podcast. And we'll see you all very soon for episode 13.